Good afternoon, everyone who's with us today. My name is Liz Krueger. I'm the state senator for the 28th District in Manhattan, and this is the third day of our virtual senior resource fair. But as I keep telling people, you don't actually have to be defining yourself as an older New Yorker to participate. You don't have to live in my district. If you've heard about this and you've decided to join, fabulous. We're happy to have you. Today, again, our discussion will be on engaging in the arts, nurture your creative spirit. If you're viewing on Zoom or Facebook or by phone, there's a couple of things I just want to remind you about. First off, as always, we have closed captioning options for today's event. You can activate closed captioning to view text on your device. That helps with hearing limitations, and most of us have some hearing limitations after a certain age. So if you're in Zoom, click on live transcript in the meeting controls to start viewing closed captioning. If you're in Facebook Live, you will see a setting button on the bottom right-hand corner of the video. Click on CC for closed caption to activate the process. This forum is being recorded, and everyone who is RSVP'd will receive an email with a link to the event video and the resources that are posted in the chat within a few days of this event live. We will also be sending you our presenters' PowerPoints. So don't think you have to get a pencil and a pad and scribble down everything you hear, because you will have an opportunity to have this all shared with you by email. A couple of quick reminders. It is election season. Early voting starts Saturday, October 29th, and runs through Sunday, November 6th. Election day is Tuesday, November 8th. To find out your early and election day poll site locations, you can call the NYC Board of Elections at 866-VOTE-NYC, or you can go to their website, which will be posted in the chat. Just a reminder, the location for early voting for you may be different than the location for your polling site on election day. So double check both so that you can still make a determination which day you want to vote, and in which case you'll know which place to go to. We're always disturbed when we hear that people went to the wrong place and then had to be rerouted to a different location. So check in advance. Regarding vaccines, and we're going to be talking about vaccines and COVID and the flu, I think for the rest of our lives, perhaps. And the punchline is, as long as you are getting vaccinated, boosted, for whatever the newest version is, you probably can continue to lead your life in a pretty reasonable pattern. Yes, you should wear masks if you can, certainly in indoor locations with large groups of people. I would argue also you should use them in mass transit to protect yourselves and to protect others. But you can find COVID vaccines and flu shots very easily in New York City at this point. And you can check with the Department of Health Vaccine Finder. The link is posted in the chat. And you also can check with your local neighborhood pharmacy, because most of them are also providing the vaccines and the flu shots. And unlike a couple of years ago, there doesn't seem to be a problem with getting these when you want them. And it's just from a health perspective, smarter and safer to keep getting the vaccines and the boosters as advised by health professionals, your own personal health professional, or the CDC, who are staying on top of these issues literally as they change week by week. All right, moving to today's event. Engaging in the arts allows us to express our creativity, learn new things, and engage with others. If you're a creative spirit, undertaking artistic endeavors can be fun, a great way to make connections and improve our quality of life as we age. I just want to note that my district in particular, and New York City as a whole, has wonderful cultural institutions and entertainment venues, big and small, many of which you can access at no or low cost. I encourage you to look through my senior resource guide for other ideas about this beyond what you're hearing today. And my senior resource guide can be downloaded from the computer, or you can request a printed copy from my office. And again, in chat, we will have information about how to most easily do that for yourself. Today, we have a wonderful panel of speakers who will focus on how you can nurture your creativity. We will hear from Maura O'Malley, the co-founder and CEO of Living Arts, Inc., who will share information about the importance of engaging in the arts as we age. Maura works with organizations presenting here today. Next, we'll hear from Naomi Goldberg Haas, founding artistic director of Dances for a Variable Population, and Bryanna Dean, master teacher. Following them, we will hear from Jessica Leylavergne, director of visual and performing arts at the Lenox Hill Neighborhood House. And finally, we will hear from Laura Marceca, associate director of older adult services, Nicole Brown, director of the senior center, and Kate Beckett, marketing and outreach manager, all for Greenwich House. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Maura O'Malley. Take it away, Maura.
Thank you very much, Senator Krueger. We're very happy to be here today and be part of this important forum. You can go to slide 2, Justin. So just a little bit about Lifetime Arts. We were established in 2008 as an art service organization to help develop an infrastructure for the emerging field of creative aging. We provide practical information and resources to help community-based organizations deliver engaging participatory programs. We rigorously train artists and community programmers around the cognitive, social, and emotional facets of aging and on the impact of ageism on program design and delivery. We seed and document programs, disseminate program information, and advocate for support. We aim for institutional system-level partnerships that can affect and sustain change locally and at scale, building capacity from the top down and the bottom up. Our overarching goal is to shift the narrative about growing older away from a negative view to one of optimism, engagement in community, and joy. Lifetime Arts works across the US and now in some other countries with public libraries, arts and cultural organizations, teaching artists, and senior service organizations, and the systems, institutions, and funders that support them. To date, we've trained over 6,000 teaching artists, librarians, community programmers from museums, arts and cultural organizations, and senior service providers. And we've supported programming in over 42 of the 50 states, directly serving more than 12,000 older adult learners. Next slide, please. Creative aging is a growing field adjacent to and intertwined with the arts and healthcare field. It addresses 3 significant and interrelated trends. Number 1, enormous growth in the world's older adult population, including baby boomers, resulting in demands for more relevant services and programs that meet these adults' varied learning and service needs. Number 2, new research on aging, demonstrating the benefits of structured learning, social engagement, and creative expression during the older years. And 3, an emerging awareness on the part of arts, cultural, and community organizations for the need to change their approach to programming for seniors from passive entertainment to active engagement and learning. At Lifetime Arts, we target the development and implementation of skill-based, participatory instructional arts programs that include activities designed to engage people socially. In short, it's arts education for older adults. And we're talking about folks between 55, we like to say between 55 and better. It's important also to differentiate between the main types of creative aging programs. The art therapies use modalities designed intentionally by trained and licensed clinicians to treat a range of injuries, disabilities, and specific health conditions. Much of this work happens in clinical or skilled nursing settings. In a related area, arts engagement activities are being used with people with Alzheimer's or other cognitive issues to provide a shift from the expectation of memory to the freedom of imagination, to reconnect to meaningful and creative engagement, to find joy. While creative aging arts education programs may have therapeutic benefits, the goals are instructional, and the focus is on older adults as art makers and learners. A good way to judge the difference is to think about the older adult participant. For arts education programs, older adults independently self-select and choose to participate in classes based on their own interests. In arts therapy or programs for people with Alzheimer's disease, people's families, caregivers, and professionals are signing up or referring older adults to programs. Creative aging programs in all these types can happen in a variety of community settings: museums, libraries, senior centers, places of worship, community centers, senior residencies, and more. Next. So why is everyone talking about aging? Well, worldwide, the population is aging due to several factors: falling fertility rates, people are having fewer children, and rising longevity, or put simply, people are generally living longer and healthier lives. Although we want to acknowledge that COVID-19 has had an impact on this, the life projection is about 1 year less than before. Overall, though, according to the US Census Bureau, starting in 2030, which is not too far away, older Americans will make up 21% of the population. That's up from 15% now. And by 2034, the number of adults over 65 will outnumber those under the age of 18. This demographic shift is not a temporary blip on the radar, but a permanent shift towards an older population. In our work, we identify older adults as people who are 55 to 100 years old and better. Furthermore, we are all in the aging club. No one is excluded. We see older adults, including ourselves, as whole, intelligent, creative, and social people. A major barrier to successful aging is ageism, which is embedded in our society and is often self-inflicted. Think of older adults who won't go to a senior center because it's full of old people. Embracing older adults as learners and creators is a challenge to many, but as creative aging advocates, we do not see older adults as other, but rather acknowledge that growing older is a natural and positive aspect of living. All of us are deserving of access to learning and to community. We reject the idea that older adults are only frail, needy, or unable to learn or contribute to community. At Lifetime Arts, we use the term older adult to denote this group of people that these programs are designed for. We find that this term, as opposed to seniors or elderly, is a broader, more inclusive term for all the kinds of people engaged in this work and is often preferable to the students themselves. Next, please. Lifetime Arts work is grounded in research, and in particular, the 2006 Creativity and Aging study led by Jean Cohen from George Washington University and the National Endowment for the Arts. The study proved that arts engagement is especially good for older adults. Cohen and others since then have discovered that the aging brain is far more plastic or pliable than previously believed, and that structured learning, especially through the arts, can improve cognitive functioning and enhance the quality of life. Cohen identified two most important components of a creative aging arts education program. No matter how it's delivered, whether it's in person, online, or an alternative format, creative aging programs need to include these two main goals. Number one, developing mastery of an art form, and two, forming community through art making experience. To define further, mastery of skills is learning an art form in depth and having the opportunity to practice the art and become better at it over time. Social engagement and building community between participants should be connected to the art making and learning. Put simply, did participants learn something new, and did they make a new friend in the process? Next, please. So whether online or in person, creative aging programs have the same focus and the same components. They are based on best practices in arts education. They are sequential, participatory, and student-centered. Sequential classes, they're not drop-in programs. They're taught by a professional teaching artist. They are registration-based, which is either free or fee-based. And there's always a culminating event to share the work with friends and family and the community. So now, with Justin's help, we're going to show you a little video that gives you a sense of what the work looks like. Are we able to try that again?
You were unable to hear that or see it?
It started and stopped.
Let me try that again.
Okay.
Bear with me. Sorry about this.
I never painted before. I never sang. I mean, I did some singing in the shower, but never in public, you know, stuff like that. No, and not only that, you get to meet new people, interesting people, and today we had the congressman from this district. He came, he said hello, and he sang with us.
Most people that I worked with in this session would never have had the opportunity to do artwork like this before, or learn how to come out of their shell, so to speak, and discover what they can do if they have some instruction and the materials to do it.
You saw it today, like this energy, it's like whoosh. They were so excited, like they were getting it. It was starting to click for them after 4 weeks. The tools were starting to make sense. They were starting to use them their way.
It's just a really, really stimulating environment. And the other thing that's always impressed me about this place, and particularly the people that I've met through art, is how kind some people can be to each other, and what a support that is, you know, on a day-to-day basis.
People can really, in expressing themselves, draw themselves out of their inner aloneness and make them feel part of the environment in some way, part of life.
You're looking at a happy man right now, and it was all on the kind of all of the singing. I'm in a good mood. I'm not depressed. I'm looking forward to life in general because of this experience.
Okay, thank you, Justin, for getting that video going. We're especially proud. Technology.
Yes.
Yeah, we're especially proud of our New York City work, our hometown, where we've worked with all 3 library systems and the city's Department of Cultural Affairs, the Department for the Aging, the Sukasa program, which provides free creative aging programs. Oops. Ay. If we can get to that last slide. Otherwise, we can just let it go. And we've worked with many of the great cultural and arts education organizations in the city, including Flamenco Vivo and Ping Chang Company. And today you'll hear from 3 of our colleagues, highly regarded New York City organizations that have really embraced and advanced creative aging. And that is Dances for a Variable Population, Greenwich House, and Lenox Hill Neighborhood House. So we're really proud to be colleagues of theirs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maura. And I particularly chuckled during the video when you talked about a congressman came to sing wherever they were singing. And I, just for the record, I'm not a congressperson, but I'm known to burst into song at a senior center or 2.
Great.
So if you see me at one of them and somebody's going to play the piano or wants everybody to sing, I'm always happy to sign up for that. And I didn't put my picture on. Sorry about that.
That's good to know.
Yes, good to know. I can do a fill-in song.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I also could tap dance, but I don't actually volunteer to do that too often.
Okay.
But speaking of tap dancing or dancing, our next speakers are Naomi Goldberg Haas and Bryanna Dean, both from Dances for a Variable Population. Hi, Naomi and Bryanna.
Hi.
Great. I'm passing it on to you.
Unmute yourself, Naomi. Good. Make sure you unmute yourself, Naomi, so we can hear what you have to say.
Thank you for the introduction. Maura, you're great. It's great to see everyone, to see everyone's work.
All right, I'm going to share our little presentation we have. All right, so we are Dances for a Variable Population. We create classes and site-related dances with multi-generational groups. I am Bryanna. I am a teaching artist, or as Naomi called me, a master teaching artist, which I appreciate, and also a choreographer. And Naomi, would you like to introduce yourself a bit?
I'm Naomi Goldberg Haas. I'm an artistic director of Dances for a Variable Population.
So Dances for a Variable Population, or DVP for short, is a nonprofit organization or corporation. It is a multi-generational dance company, approximately ages 25 to 80, and we're an educational organization committed to promoting strong and creative movement among older adults of all abilities through classes, dance workshops, and performances. Using the power of dance, we built community, create lively, fun, and beautifully executed theatrical dance by our diverse participants and professional dancers as well. It enables them to build creativity, improve mental and physical health. It strengthens their social connections and overall improves their quality of life. We serve over 2,500 older adults throughout New York City annually with our classes and our performances. It was founded in 2005 by our artistic director, Naomi Goldberg Haas. DVP employs 8 teaching artists currently, including myself, and multiple professional dancers and choreographers. We've held 13 large-scale site-related public works in New York City. We focus predominantly on older adults in low-income, minority, and culturally underserved communities. We come in and we question, who is a dancer? Who can make dance, and how can people interact with and experience dance? This is a little bit of an overview video that kind of explains our mission. All right. So you saw a little bit of our Movement Speaks classes. So this is a core program. It's titled Movement Speaks. It is completely free. They're community classes, usually held at senior centers, libraries, and since COVID, public parks and outdoor plazas as well. We serve 19 sites in 4 boroughs in New York City. We also do, since COVID, over Zoom. So we have 5 online classes a week, so 1 class for each day of the week. And we also do telephone classes, which has been an interesting addition. It's held every Tuesday for those who do not have internet access. And in these classes, we focus on building strength, increasing flexibility. We also have balance training, and we have an entire section at the end of each class for creative mastery, where we get to have some creative challenges. Our performances. So we engage our community as performers. We make visible the older adults, connecting them to each other, professional choreographers as well, and viewers through the power of dance. One of our programs is called Dances for Seniors. It is a 20-minute performance and then a 40-minute interactive workshop after for fun, friendship. We bring these into citywide senior centers. It is led by seasoned performers and teachers as well, who serve as mentors to the older adults. Since 2017, we've hosted our annual revival performances. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was held online, and 6 this year at 4 locations: Queensbridge Park, Grant's Tomb, Washington Square Park, and Yolanda Garcia Park in the South Bronx. We work with legendary professional dancers and choreographers, our teaching artists, and neighborhood older adults for Hearst, and performed a theme showcase in each of these locations. So this is some pictures of where we've been. So in the top left is Queensbridge Park, and then beside that in the top center is Times Square, and then to the right is Washington Square Park. At the bottom left is a performance that we did in the Staten Island Ferry Terminal. In the center bottom is our Highline performance. We are actually the first commissioned dance performed on the Highline, which is really cool. And then at the bottom right is our Grant's Tomb performance. Here's a picture of our Dances for Seniors program, where we have performance and then an interactive workshop at the very end. And this was held at various locations, but this picture was at Manhattanville Senior Center in 2019. And this is a picture of our Grant's Tomb performance of Revival. I was actually in this piece. And then this one is an outdoor workshop at Grant's Tomb. So this happens before our Revival performances. We get the community involved in a dance workshop, and then we have a performance of our showcase afterwards. So what are we doing now? We are continuing to respond with creativity and flexibility to bring our communities together and to offer accessible, locally based opportunities for older adults to strengthen their bodies, minds, and spirits, finding joyful expression amidst the challenges. We also are making it a priority to manage hybrid platforms through our classes and performances. And just to finish us off here, here's a quick video about where we're going and what has happened since COVID.
Hi, I'm Naomi Goldberg Haas, Artistic Director of Dances for Variable Population. In spring 2020, when COVID hit, this is a little bit of our story, we felt it was important to continue our Movement Speaks programs for older adults. We knew that with stay-at-home orders, seniors would be isolated and have no way of maintaining their physical and mental health, and also ways of engaging in creativity through Movement Speaks. We started offering our classes on Zoom. We offered technical support to train older adults how to use the program and offered 10 classes a week.
DVP connects me to other people. Well, through Zoom, the miracle of Zoom, I've been able to see faces and share stories and learn about people.
I feel the effects of this movement and this dancing, both physically and mentally.
We realized that there were a group of older adults who weren't able to use a computer or didn't have access, so we thought we had to do another way of offering classes. We created Movement Speaks by Telephone conferencing class. We had 30 to 40 students taking class on the telephone 7 days a week. Then when it became safe to meet outdoors in person, we launched our outdoor classes, first in West Harlem at Grant's Tomb, then in the Bronx, in Washington Square, in Queensbridge, on the streets of Spanish Harlem, and in Brooklyn. We met all winter long at Grant's Tomb, as long as it wasn't icy.
But I love when we get into the big circle and we communicate with each other, with our feelings in our bodies. And everybody, no matter how old we are or young we are, we all move.
We've heard from our participants how much they valued having a way to connect, dance, learn, and express their creativity in the really dark times of 220, and even now when everything remains a little uncertain. We've been proud to sustain and expand our programs for our communities because they are so needed.
DDP classes have impacted me in just many ways. Certainly physically, my sense of well-being, just doing the movements and the dancing at home. You guys have really figured out the best way to work us and move the movement in small spaces, which is amazing.
It's really a wonderful thing for my body and my mind.
I'm energized, endorphins are in, I feel good. I feel like I can face the world and do everything.
This has been, I think, for me, a lifesaver.
Great. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Bryanna.
Thank you both, Bryanna and Naomi. And I found the video so inspiring. And some of us who might have been watching yesterday's Senior Resource Day, we were talking about and had people on showing us exercises and movement, but not necessarily tying it into dance, just tying it into health and meditation and the mind and body relationship. And I think tying it into the art of the dance is such a beautiful extended transition of all those great things that can be done while watching all of these people really be innovative with the dancing that they are doing as well.
Thank you so much. It's very true. Everything you say is very true. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm very excited to learn more about this. So now our next speaker will be Jessica Leylavergne, who's from Lenox Hill Neighborhood House. Good afternoon, Jessica.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having us here today. I see some of our members in our group here, so thank you for joining us. And it has been so enjoyable to learn about our other organizations on this platform today. So I'm going to share my screen here. And so, as Senator Krueger said, I am Jessica Leylavergne. I'm the Director of Visual and Performing Arts at Lenox Hill Neighborhood House. And so Lenox Hill Neighborhood House was actually founded in 1894 as a kindergarten for immigrants. And we have developed further and further today. So now we are having a whole bunch of different programs. We have our older adult services, which include our older adult centers. And that's what we'll be focusing on mostly today. We also have a geriatric care management program that does case management for homebound clients. We have our care program that is a day program for Alzheimer's and dementia clients. We have a caregiver program that serves folks who are giving care for aging parents or other family members in their lives. We also have our early childhood center that has 130 seats for 3 and 4-year-olds. We have our healthy food and wellness, and that also contains our art therapy program. We have the teaching kitchen, which is a program that teaches organizations how to create a farm to institution model for their institutional kitchens. We have a women's shelter in the Park Avenue Armory, as well as our Casa Mutua, our supportive permanent housing for formerly homeless adults. We have adult education and classes in tech and English for learners of other languages. And finally, we have our visual and performing arts department, of which I am the director. We have 5 full-time teaching artists on staff who are doing arts programs every day in all of those programs that I just listed there. So in thinking about developing programs, especially for our older adult centers, we're thinking about a few things. First, we want to share what is already there in our center population. We have members who have a wealth of expertise, skills, and experience, and we want to start there. We want to apply and build new skills. We aim to give clients tools to mine their artistic jewels themselves so that we're working together to have this enjoyable artistic experience, whether that be in visual art, dance, drama, or music. And we want to have classes and programs that allow all levels of participants to access and enjoy art, sort of what Maura was referring to in a video earlier in this forum. And finally, we're really thinking about erasing the process and product binary. For example, we do have performances and we do have art showings at the end of some of our programs and workshops, but we're also considering the fact that the actual class itself is as important. So it's not just the product, it's not just the final performance that we're focused on here. So today I wanted to share 4 projects that we've been working on recently at the neighborhood house. And so these are all falling under arts education and not arts therapy, but they are all wonderful programs that I have really enjoyed working on with our organization. So first we have a program we call the Improv to Script Workshop. So in this program, it's a class weekly that's led by our drama teacher, Carrie Evans. And so if you've ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? Or another comedy improv, you know that improv is an art form in which plot, character, dialogue, scene, and story are made up spontaneously in the moment. So what happened in this class is that the participants were put into small groups and were given a prompt for their scene, and then they improvised a scene. And that scene was then recorded and transcribed into a script. And then that script went through an editing process by that group so that in the end, they had created a devised piece of theater together. So they rehearsed those scenes and they finally got to perform them in front of an audience, once in our dining room and once in our auditorium stage. So these were really fun comedic performances, and they were really wonderful in that they were able to have full ownership of the storytelling from start to finish. So, you know, and we look in film and theater, and stories of older adults are not always centered, whereas in this performance space and this performance project, it is always the members who are bringing their characters to life based on their own skills and abilities. So here we have our performance. This was this past fall. We have some performers in the dining room, and then of course some performers in our auditorium. So the same performance was done twice to ensure that there was accessibility. Some folks were more comfortable watching the scene in the dining room. Some people preferred to see the performances on stage. And so that was a really wonderful new program that we had. And we are going to be starting up that class again in a few weeks. The second project I'd like to highlight today is our Summer Artist in Residence. And that was a wonderful nurse practitioner and artist named Carolyn Belkis. So Carolyn Belkis led 3 workshops every week this summer that explored participant interests and visions of their future in the form of collage. So what I was really thinking about in developing this program is to have an artist fully immersed and engaged in our program more than once a week, several times a week, to really get to know members and interact with them and engage with them in that level. So the other thing we were really prioritizing when we selected an artist in residence for this program is that it be an older adult. And so Ms. Belkis is 89 years old. Her age was very inspirational to other members. She showed them that there was no age limit to enjoy and explore art, and she shared a lifetime of wisdom and experience. And her medium was collage, which was extremely accessible. Anybody who has scissor skills, and we even have adaptable scissors for folks who have mobility challenges, were able to create art together. And so she led a weekly chat with the artist where she shared her experiences leading art making workshops for incarcerated folks at a variety of different institutions. And she shared her own personal artwork, which was really fun and interesting. And finally, at the end of the summer, we had a showing of all the work put together. So here are a few pictures of Ms. Belkis at work. She created a collage on canvas, and then here we see her sharing a piece of her art and doing a chat with the artist. And here are some pictures of our final presentation. We had collage on pieces of wood, we had collage on paper, as well as canvas. Several folks brought in trays, which they did collage on. And so it was a really wonderful moment to celebrate the work of what Ms. Belkis was able to bring to the community. And we had a great time celebrating and showing off their work. The third project I'd like to highlight is our production of Into the Woods Senior. This was several years ago. You see here a picture of our cast with the late great Stephen Sondheim and James Lapine, who visited us. This was pre-pandemic. And so this was just such a wonderful project. And we were thinking about, as we engaged in this project, how can we meet participants where they are with high artistic standards and accommodate the needs of various members, as well as create artistic challenges for those who want to sort of challenge and grow their skills. And of course, with a production like this that has sort of a predetermined number of characters, how can we create space for more people to participate in the project? And so we had folks who were creating sets and costumes, as well as those who were featured on stage. And so here are a few of our production photos. We have Rapunzel here, we have the witch and a stepsister trying on a shoe. And so this was a pilot production in collaboration with Music Theater International. So we were able to adapt the script of Into the Woods to be slightly abridged, but to be appropriate for senior centers to perform. And so I'd like to share a little video. This is from our production. I know the volume is a bit low, but we'd love to share with you the baker and his wife singing. So these characters were played by a real life husband and wife team. And you'll see Linda Creamer plays the baker's wife, Ed Snyder plays the baker, and Linda was in recovery from pneumonia at the time. And so she's wheelchair bound, but we had a great time featuring this couple and her in this role.
You changed, you're daring, you're different in the woods, more sure, more sharing, you're getting us through the woods. If you could see, you're not the man who started, you're much more open-hearted than I knew you to be.
And this is a little clip of Cinderella's mother. And so many of our members are Chinese speaking. And so we wanted to be inclusive as possible and work in opportunities for folks who have all sorts of backgrounds. And so there was actually a production of Into the Woods done in Beijing. And so we got permission to use the translation of this portion of the show that is performed by our Chinese speaking member, Ai Ping Tang.
You changed.
Got it. There we go.
你究竟要什么？决定它就是你希望和好，许个愿，愿望就会实现。
So at the end of our production, we had all of our cast members sign our poster that we have hanging in our senior center at 70th Street and First Avenue. And in addition to this production, we were also approached by Encore's theater production. They were doing a production of Into the Woods earlier this spring. And they were seeking older adult members for the community chorus that was both going to participate in a workshop, an intergenerational workshop with New York City school students, as well as perform as part of the community chorus at the end of the show. So here's a picture of some of our members auditioning and participating in those community workshops in collaboration with Encores. And finally, so our collaboration with MTI, we are continuing with a production of The Music Man Jr. We had it cast prior to the beginning of the pandemic, but we are going to be resuming production on that in 2023. And we're very much looking forward to that production. So the last project I'd like to share with you today that we've been working on here at the Neighborhood House is our new intergenerational theater project that we just began a few weeks ago. So this project is led by myself and our drama teacher, Carrie Evans, and we're bringing together students aged 8 through 10 with older adults, and we're looking to find meaningful connection across generations. So we have about 20 participants who are exploring and adapting classic fairy tales with modern settings that will be performed on stage. So the participants are developing characters, again, specific to their skills and abilities, and they're writing the whole scripts. So we're developing these scripts through a collaborative process. And this, of course, brings up ideas on values and storytelling, symbolism, and what the meaning of happily ever after is with folks who are older adults and children. So, of course, they have different perspectives, which are very fun and interesting to hear and share. So that's the first half of our class. And then the second half of our class is a theater and performance class that really focuses on building relationships and the teamwork necessary to be able to present a play together. It helps them get into their bodies and explore physicality together as they develop these characters. And of course, have fun and rehearse these plays together. So here's some of our groups in action. This is just over the past couple of weeks. And so we anticipate our final presentation in December 2022. We will have The Influencer's New Clothes and The Gingerbread Kid Takes Manhattan on our auditorium stage in December. So we're really looking forward to showing that and sharing what we've created together. So those were 4 of our projects that we've been working on, but we also have all of these classes being offered weekly at the Neighborhood House. Some of them are online, some of them are in person. We aim to create a whole variety of arts classes for folks who have all different levels. And so if you have any interest in joining our classes, of course, our information will be provided in Senator Krueger's resource guide, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jessica. And professional singers know that Stephen Sondheim is the hardest thing in the world to sing. So kudos to whoever said, yeah, let's just take on Into the Woods. It's not exactly easy assignments, to say the least. So well done, everybody, in those performances. And now I'm going to move us to our guests from Greenwich House, Laura Marceca, I probably said it wrong, Nicole Brown, and Kate Beckett. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you, Senator Krueger, for inviting Greenwich House to this really delightful virtual senior resource fair. And we're so happy to be on the panel with our respected colleagues in aging and in arts. I do want to give a special thank you to Maureen O'Malley and Lifetime Arts, who always really give us resources and guidance that allow us to channel our creative ideas for older adults, which brings so much joy and empowerment to everybody around us. So I just want to talk a little bit quickly about Greenwich House. So do we want to go to the first slide?
Sure.
Thanks. So also with me today is Nicole Brown, who is the director of one of our sites, which I'll talk about in a moment, at Greenwich House, Center on the Square, and Kate Beckett, who is our marketing and outreach manager for older adult centers. So Greenwich House is a settlement house. We're actually celebrating a 120-year anniversary of community involvement this Thanksgiving. And currently we offer 4 centers dedicated to older adults 60 and over. 3 of our centers are located in Greenwich Village, and 1 of our centers is located in Tribeca. Additionally, we have a very extensive virtual program that is open to anybody 60 and over online. Today, we're going to take a little time to talk to you about one of our sites, which is Center on the Square, that Nicole Brown manages. It's one of our biggest sites out of all the 4 sites, and it's located directly across from Washington Square Park. This older adult center is considered a hub for lunch, for socialization, classes, and programs, but the focus of the center is really on arts and culture. So once again, I want to thank you for this opportunity, and I would like to give Nicole the floor to talk a little bit about the programs at Center on the Square.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me today. My name is Nicole Brown. Known for our center's diversity in cultural programs, members have the opportunity to dive into untouched areas of creativity through drawing and painting classes. Our classes have gained in popularity. Many members are proud to share and talk about their work. Next. Benefits behind visual arts. Participation in visual arts is said to include many benefits for our older adult members, which include strengthening memory, expressing individuality, stress relief, socialization, fine-tuner motor skills, boosting creativity, and overall optimism. Now, many members come to our program because they love participating in the visual arts classes. We have some artists that want to continue to master in their art skills. And then we have non-artists who just want to go deeper into their creativity. Then we have a portion of members who suffer with anxiety or have high levels of stress or battling depression. And they come to these programs so they can be more centered, feel more ease, and just go deep into their creativity. So visual arts are very beneficial. Next slide. What's happening at Center on the Square? Before I go into our classes, I like to mention Sukasa. We have a partnership with Sukasa for many years. Sukasa is a program that places different artists in different older adult centers, which is formerly known as senior centers. And in the past, we had towel making program, quilt making, they did digital photography, and we also had a Japanese class, or Japanese dance class, where members learn how to do Japanese dance and also learn how to write haiku poetry, which is known as Japanese poetry. So each time Sukasa brought these wonderful programs to our center, we would advertise it. And a lot of members took advantage of these classes, and the attendance was successful. So we were inspired by going deeper into providing different visual arts classes. And on Mondays, we offer a Chinese painting class where members learn the form of Chinese painting, and they work with bamboo brushes, stencils, watercolors, they work with rice paper, and they paint different images of nature. On Tuesday, we offer a jewelry class where members learn the techniques of making bracelets and necklaces and earrings. You can see some pictures that we have displayed on the slide. On Thursday morning, we have a studio painting class, or studio art class, excuse me, where members explore different mediums of art. And these members work independently. So they have a choice if they want to work with markers that day, if they want to make collages, if they want to paint. They usually choose what they prefer to do, and they work one-on-one, but they are guided by the art instructor. And on Fridays, if you see the picture to the far left, we have some beautiful knitting items. We have a group of ladies who've been here for 30 years, and they knit different kinds of items like hats and scarves and blankets and gloves. And every Friday, they put these items out and they sell it in the community. And we have members, we have NYU students that come by the shop, we have tourists that come by and shop, and just members from the local community that just buy all these different items. And within a month, we made a little over $1,000. We take that money, we put it into our membership account, and with that membership account, we're able to rent buses to take us to different trips. We subsidize trips, we buy supplies, we have our holiday parties and different events, and it gives our members a purpose, you know, when it comes to the center. So this has been going on for many years now. Next slide. Laura, you want to talk about the art show?
Sure. So all the programs that Nicole spoke about have been really special. And as the years progress, we've noticed that members are really interested in art, in culture, in programs. And what we decided to do prior to COVID was we formed a small committee of volunteers that were very interested in arts and culture. And they created and put on a senior membership art show. And we invited guests to view an exhibit of over 25 to 45 pieces of work. Guests were invited to meet and talk with the artists behind the work. But the most important thing is that the show was arranged and managed entirely by a committee of senior volunteers. So the artists created this committee, and anybody who had artwork, what any medium it was, even it was jewelry, tiles, any medium it was, you could put the artwork into the show, and we would have a show. So we had about 2 shows prior to COVID, and it was well received. Do we have the next slide? Okay. So it was locally broadcast in the Villager. There in that photo, we have 3 of our older adults with one of the pieces of art. We had several planning meetings to put the show together. It was managed and curated by volunteers. And we feel it's very important to empower our senior volunteers, giving them purpose and making our center strong. The art show is really all about inclusion. And like Maura said earlier in the fair, it's really important for us to give older adults an opportunity to channel their creativity, to do something new. Maybe somebody that's 75 or 85 years old hasn't touched an art brush since high school, Art 101. And now we're giving them we're giving them all the tools they need to do anything they want, actually, in our center. So if we want to move on to the next slide.
Yes.
So with all of that being said, do you want to talk? Sorry, Nicole.
Yes. So sorry, Laura. So we do have an upcoming art show that will be on December the 1st. And once all the members submit in their artwork, these are people who want to participate in the art show. They can submit up to 2 pieces to be in the art show. And then once we have everything, we have an installation process where we have volunteers who would frame these paintings and place them on inside our parlor and inside our lunchroom. And then once we have the opening show, which is December 1st / reception, the artwork will be displayed for 1 month. And after a month, we take it down and members will collect them, and then we will be preparing for the next art show, which may be in the spring. Next slide. So this looks like this brings the conclusion to our presentation. If you want to stay in touch, Center on the Square is located at 20 Washington Square North. Our telephone number is 212-777-3555, extension 106. Those of you who are technology savvy, I'm going to give you a quick lesson. Hold up your phone, make sure it's in picture mode, not selfie mode, and you're going to aim it at that barcode. And once you aim it at the barcode, you're going to see a website that comes up on your phone. You click on that website and you'll have Greenwich House Older Adults website. And you can review our in-person classes, our Zoom classes, our menus, and so on. Thank you.
Thank you, all three women from your settlement house. Lots of good information for us all. Laura, Nicole, and Kate, thank you, thank you. Yes. So now we're going to jump to the Q&A section of our webinar. We do this all the time. Sometimes we get a lot of questions in advance, and sometimes we don't get that many. So I just want to remind people, if you have questions, please type it into chat now, and then my staff will highlight to me new questions that have come in. I'm going to ask everybody who's on with me today to turn back on their cameras and to come off of mute, and to feel free to jump in with answers to questions as I read them off. And again, people who are watching by Zoom or by Facebook, you can type questions into the chat section, or the Q&A section, excuse me. Type questions in through the Q&A function in Zoom and Facebook, and then my staff will make sure that I get those. One question that I saw come in already was, is anybody offering singing classes or that people can sign up for? And Laura, I saw you shake your head yes.
Yeah, we have 2 Greenwich House choruses, and we actually work with the Greenwich House Music School to get a wonderful professional singer who comes in every Monday at 11 a.m. to our Tribeca site at 310 Greenwich Street. In January, we hope to get a second chorus at Center on the Square through CASA funding. So we do have 2 choruses.
We also have 2 choruses. We have a Singing Seniors group at our St. Peter's location. That's at 53rd and Lexington, and that's on Thursday afternoons. It has just recently resumed after summer hiatus. We also have our community chorus, I believe it's on Monday mornings at our 70th Street location. That's at the corner of First Avenue and 70th Street.
Great. And I'll just throw one in there that somebody just told me about. A friend who's an older New Yorker, and she learned that most churches and synagogues and mosques are looking for people for their choruses. Now, granted, their music is of a certain type, but they do performances usually in the religious services that happen on Friday nights or Saturday or Sunday, depending on who. So my friend said she never really pictured herself as that much of a synagogue goer, but she loves to sing, and she was welcomed in, even though she wasn't sure she could sing more than 2 notes. So just think about that, folks, that if you might be involved in a religious institution already, they might have a chorus there that you might be able to sign up for, or even if you're not so much an active participant, they are apparently looking for people to sing. So just another thought for you all. All right, so I just threw that in. So here's a question. I'm aware that of the museum programs offered for people with dementia or memory issues, the Met, MoMA, and others, but are there any music, dance, or other venues that offer such programs specifically for people who may have both a combination of dementia and mobility issues?
There's a Dance for Parkinson's, which I think is based in Brooklyn, but I think they probably have service in a lot of different areas.
But there's also dancers that work with the community, so dementia. One dancer from our company works with.
I also want to add that we have in our class, in jury class, and we have about 3 people who are in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's, but we don't want them to feel like they're standing alone. We do believe in mainstreaming them with other adults, other members. So if they can bring an aide with them, you know, that's fine, but they're willing, they can participate in any of our classes.
Great. Same with us.
And I believe I remember seeing that the American Alzheimer's Association, or the New York chapter, actually offers a program of music therapy for folks with dementia. And there's actually been a lot of research done that music is actually incredibly powerful as a tool for working with people who are suffering from various kinds of dementia. So whoever asked that question, you also just might want to check with, I think there are 2 major Alzheimer's dementia organizations here in New York. So, because I'm pretty sure I saw that they were offering these programs, I'm just not sure where and when. Okay, arts meeting address October 27th, there was an arts meeting addressing legacy. If one has created many paintings, what organizations can one gift those paintings to? Like hospitals, retirement centers, local cultural centers, libraries. Oops. Artists don't like the idea of their artwork being thrown out in the garbage. Well, I certainly do understand that feeling. Anybody know about groups that are accepting donations of people's art? See, we stumped the panel, and I also don't have an answer. I know there's organizations that collect items that can be turned into art by artists, so that there are materials that you can get for free to help you express yourself through your art. But I'm afraid I'm not aware of any institutions or centers that are just saying we're ready to accept art from whoever. My sister's a painter. I have many of her paintings on my walls. So certainly reach out to family and friends with gifts. Yes, Maura.
Yes, Senator, I was going to say that maybe the borough arts councils might have some information about that kind of a question. You know, and each borough has an arts council that has all different people working there who might have some help.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm just going to double check if other questions came in online. How much does it cost to learn knitting? Is there a charge for anybody who was having knitting classes at their programs? Is there any special charge for learning about knitting?
No, there is no charge. All programs are free. You just have to be 60 plus.
Okay. Oh, we have a visiting watcher from New Jersey asking if they can participate in offerings at New York City locations. Are there any rules about having to live in the city of New York? If you're, say, a settlement house or a senior center?
So we do have a requirement. The only 2 requirements are age 60 or better and living in the 5 boroughs. So that's for most senior centers, I believe. I mean, older adult centers.
So I'm not sure where in New Jersey you live, but you might want to check out senior centers closer to home for yourself in New Jersey and see what kind of offerings they have. And can a senior come with their home health aide to the programs that are on site and locations?
Absolutely.
Okay, and Jessica's shaking her head also. Okay, and there's no reason to imagine the dance groups won't let you come with a home health aide, correct?
Of course.
Okay, great.
They have to dance too, if we have to dance, so.
Thank you. Somebody asked about that I guess At NYU years ago, there was a class they took called art therapy, dance, art, etc. Are there any art therapists working at Greenwich House or the other sites that are represented?
So go ahead, Greenwich House.
So we don't have an art therapist on site. We just have art instructors and lecturers. They're lecturers and art instructors. I mean, but to me, all art is therapy. But yeah, not any art therapists at this time.
So as Maura was saying, the differentiation between art therapy and the clinical setting and art education, we actually do have, in addition to the programs that I was discussing today, we do have an art therapy program. We have a director of art therapy who is a licensed clinical art therapist, and she runs several groups for our older adult centers, along with 3 interns who also run a few groups. So you can check that out on our website or included with the senior resource guide.
Great. So there are a number of people asking specific questions about your programs and when our class is scheduled, etc. And I'm going to just refer everybody to follow up through your phone number or your websites rather than just start reading off questions about what time do classes take place, because I'm going to guess you haven't memorized all that. So please do reach out to any of the folks who are participating to ask specific questions about when and where their programs are happening. Somebody asked about if they want to take up a musical instrument and master that as their participation in the arts when they haven't done that earlier in life. Do any of you know of programs offering musical instrument classes?
At one of our sites at Greenwich House, we do have a guitar class where you can learn how to play the guitar. And if you check out our website, you'll see that at Our Lady of Pompeii, which is one of our sites in the village.
I just also want to add that we have a program called Let's Jam that'll be coming in January, where all people get together with different instruments and they just come together and play for like 2 hours, but that won't start until January. But just continue to visit our website for more information.
And I would say also a lot of the community art schools offer multiple programs, instructional programs for older adults. There's Street Music School, there's loads of them in Manhattan and in the boroughs.
So another creative art we didn't talk about yet was writing. Do any of your programs offer classes in creative writing?
Sorry, I didn't know.
Yes.
We have a hybrid class actually that we've been running, or we recently created a hybrid class, so you can join it on Zoom or in person on Tuesday afternoons, and that I believe is called, it has had a couple different names, but I think it's Write Your Heart Out. So that's on Tuesday afternoons, and that's, again, you can look at the program schedule.
Great.
Yes, we also have a creative writing class at our West Beth Center on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock.
Okay. And somebody just points out that they really love that all of these programs came to Zoom, and so that you don't have to do them in person. And I guess they're just hoping that these will continue even if we've survived most of the pandemic, but that people have really grown very attached to hybrid and Zoom classes. And I just want to say I agree completely. I know as a senator who used to do town halls in person and has shifted into all kinds of webinars, such as the one you're participating in today, we can get hundreds of people to sign up and they can all participate, while finding locations for in-person events that would hold, more than 100 people was extraordinarily challenging. So I agree completely, no matter what your age is or what the topic is, a hybrid model and Zoom participation has really opened up a huge number of opportunities for all age New Yorkers. So,
Senator, I would also suggest that people check out their public libraries. The public libraries have been very active in creative aging for many years, and most have pivoted to providing online programs. So I would, encourage people to check out their local branches, but also the main libraries.
Great idea. This came up I guess 2 days ago in the previous Zooms about libraries being such an incredible resources to us all that are spread throughout neighborhoods and are running all kinds of programs for people of all ages. So thank you for bringing that up, Maura. So here's a challenge. Do any of you have employment opportunities for artists, and how would you apply? Well,
so at this time, we are fully staffed in our teaching artist roles, but we are always open to volunteer instructors, and we have many wonderful programs led by volunteers if anyone has any interest in leading any specific programs.
Great, thank you. And there are a number of online websites that offer, you can sort of write in what you are trying to get hired to do, and they have it broken down by category, and they get very literal and detailed about it. So if you haven't tried that, job hunting is always the challenge, but more and more and more of any kind of job is actually a posting on one of these websites, not an ad in a newspaper. So I would definitely encourage people to check out a few of these websites that don't charge you for looking up job opportunities by topic and geography and experience and skills.
Yeah. I would also again suggest that anyone who's interested, any teaching artists who are interested, contact their council, the borough arts councils who are responsible for running the Sukasa programs. And they all have mechanisms for engaging teaching artists.
Thank you. Then there's a question about, do you have to be a member of each of your organizations to take courses or participate? I'm assuming, senior centers, you have to be a member, although you don't cost anything.
He doesn't know who you are. You just have to register. You have to tell us who you are.
Okay.
Not a big deal. It's easy.
So if you have an APB out on you, perhaps don't use your real name, but otherwise it's probably not too, did I just say that out loud? It's probably not too hard to become a member of any of these programs.
We welcome you.
All right, we've gotten to that time where I am going to thank you all for participating today. It was a lot of fun, and I know I learned quite a bit about programs and activities that are out there. And if I had an extra time, I would like to participate in. So we'll see. If the voters don't put me back in office, I have lots of time to do all these things with you. So I want to thank you all, Maura, Naomi, Bryanna, Laura, Nicole, and Kate. I want to remind people that a lot of the information about the programs you heard about today and lots of other programs are included in my senior resource guide, which again is available online at my website. You can find a link in chat, but if you'd like a hard copy and it's actually easier to use as a hard copy, you can email my office at lkrueger@nysenate.gov, or you can call us at 212-490-9535 and give us your name and address, and we will put a copy in the mail to you. This officially is the last of the 3 afternoons of my virtual senior resource fair for 2022. Hoping we might be able to go back live by next fall, we'll see. And even though it's the last session of Senior Resource Fair, my office and I continue to offer various webinar activities and programs throughout the year. So our next one is scheduled for Tuesday, November 15th, and it's on Medicare open enrollment from 2 to 3:30 in the afternoon. So if you are new to Medicare, or you are not satisfied with the Medicare options that you've chosen for yourself from the perspective of having the services and benefits you need, I encourage you to listen in November 15th and learn about your options for either enrolling first time in Medicare or changing the decisions you made, because they're usually for a year at a time, and there's only a certain enrollment period each year. So with that, again, thank you to all of our guests. Thank you to my staff with whom this would not happen. And I hope that everybody out there listening has a good rest of the day and weekend. And clearly you got the message, participate in the arts. It's good for your soul and your body and your spirit and your mental health. So thank you all so much for participating. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.